Namaste friends, my name is Amit Garg. Welcome to my channel Ganesha-Hanuman. I'm making a video after rather a long gap of over a month. I've been busy teaching a Jyotish course, online Jyotish course. It's a 12-week course. So if you're interested in getting the recordings, please let me know the details of the course there on the website. Send me a note if you're interested in purchasing the recordings. So in this video, today we'll talk about the sun's transit in the sign of Gemini, Mithun Rashi. Sun will enter Gemini on June 15th. It'll stay there for about a month through July 16th. So sun stays in each sign for a month, and that's why it takes about 12 months, 1 year, to go over the zodiac, the 12 signs, right? So right now, sun is in Vrishab Rashi, Taurus, and it'll enter Mithun Rashi, Gemini, on June 15th. So what does that mean? How will impact each of us? First of all, we look at the qualities, the karakas of sun, and then we see the qualities, the karakas of the sign, the Gemini. And then finally, we'll see how that'll impact each of us based on our rising sign, which house the sun is the ruler of in our individual charts. So first of all, in general, for everybody, what does sun in Gemini mean? See, the sun rules our father. Sun is our soul, Atma Karaka. Sun represents our self-confidence. It represents the government, the leaders, authorities. And sun represents the truth. Sun is the king. Sun is the father in the family, head of the household. Sun represents the bones in our body. Sun represents the structure. Sun holds together the entire solar system, right? So that's what the bones do in the body. They hold our body together. So the sun represents the structure of the society, of the body. That's why it rules the bones. Sun represents our health in general, our immunity, our well-being in general, and our intelligence to some extent. So sun represents all of these things. And then the sign of Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, so it likes to reach out to people. So communication is a big thing with Gemini. And then all the skills, the things that we learn, especially things we do with our hands. And then Gemini is all about, it's a dual sign. So it's like learning a lot of things at the same time. So jack of all trades. So essentially learning a lot of things, including skills with your hands, but also communication, all forms of communication. That's Gemini. So when sun enters Gemini, for everybody, all of us in general, that will mean that there'll be focus on communication, on reaching out to people. And what kind of communication? It'd be more like a leader, like a king. It'll be, we may see a lot of political leaders, giving meaningful speeches and more communication between the nations in general. They'll be focused, they'll be light on the importance of communication. And then trade, commerce, all of that, also Mercury. So that's in general. Now let's see one by one how that'll impact us. That depends on our rising sign, our lagna, which is different for all of us, could be different for all of us, right? So this is the chart for June 15th. That's when the sun enters the sign of Gemini. You see this sun is 0 degrees, 20 minutes here. So let's look at Aries rising first. So I'll move the chart so that it becomes Aries rising. This is number 1. That's Aries, sign of Aries. So for Aries, sun is the ruler of the 5th house. Sun rules number 5 sign, which is Leo. And it's placed in the 3rd house. So 5th Lord placed in the 3rd house. Now, whenever the ruler of a house or a sign is placed 11 houses away from itself, that means it will bring gains to that house. So let me explain. So here, sun is the ruler of the 5th house. It's placed 11 houses away from its own house. So it's placed here in the 3rd house. So that is 11 houses away from the 5th house. You go counterclockwise. So that means it will bring gains for the fifth house karakas. Fifth house represents our children, our creativity, our love affairs, speculation, our students, all of that. So that means this will be a beneficial period for all of these areas of our lives for Aries rising. Okay. Now, also that may mean, so third house represents our siblings. So that may also mean there'll be some connection between our children and our siblings. So they may be doing things together. But also there's one big thing, the yoga that's taking place is the sun is in trines to Saturn and Ketu. Okay, so throughout this month of mid-June to mid-July, Sun will be in exact trines to Saturn and Ketu. See, these three planets, they don't get along very well. Sun is the biological child of Saturn. I'm sorry, the other way. Saturn is the child of Sun. They're enemies, considered enemies. And then Ketu causes eclipse, and Ketu and Saturn don't go along very well. So Saturn, Ketu, and Sun, kind of like three enemies trines to each other. So that means, especially Aries rising, be careful with their communication with the siblings. There may be ego issues from your side or from your sibling side. So be very careful in your communication with your siblings. Okay, so that's one caution. So that's in a nutshell how it's going to be for Aries rising. Now let's see Taurus rising. So Taurus rising, the sun rules the fourth house. Leo is the fourth house for Taurus rising. And the fourth lord is sitting in the second house. So that means it will bring about gains for the fourth house matters, which includes the mother, our vehicles, our inner happiness, real estate. So you may see gains in all those areas of life. Now, as we mentioned in the case of Aries also, so Sun is in trines to Saturn and Ketu. That means be careful with your communication with your family, because second house represents our family. So there may be ego issues with respect to your family. And second house represents our speech. So this is a perfect time. This is a wonderful time for you to do speech engagements and also focus on family wealth. So those things will be in the limelight. Wherever sun goes, it brightens up that area of life. So second house for Taurus rising, family will be the focus, speech will be the focus, food will be the focus, family wealth will be the focus. But be careful not to have any ego issues or harsh speech or miscommunication with your family or in general with your speech. But otherwise, a very powerful time for you to focus on all those things. Next one, Gemini rising. So Gemini rising, you see sun is sitting in the Lagna. For Gemini rising, sun is the third house ruler. So third lord is sitting in Lagna. Okay, so that means it will bring gains for your siblings or gains for you through your siblings. So there's a connection between third house and the first house. And also, whenever some planet sits in your Lagna, that becomes the focus. So the siblings may be your focus for that month, during that 1 month, meaning you may do things with your siblings or they may just trouble you. Or now, sun is sitting in the Lagna, it's not sitting in the third house. So that means you have to be very careful with your own ego, because first house represents ourself, our personality. So sun in the first house may actually give you, this sense of being a leader, a commander, and not listening to other people. That may be the issue, especially because sun is in trines to Ketu and Saturn. So be careful about not having too much ego. But the other areas of focus will be your own health, because first house represents your health in general, and you'll come out as a leader. And the focus will be on your own self more than anything else during this month. Next one, Cancer rising. So for Cancer rising, sun is the second lord sitting in the 12th house. Now, this is a very interesting combination, because as we've been learning in general, because sun is the second lord sitting 11 houses away from second house, that means it should bring gains for the second house matters. But for Cancer rising, sun is also sitting in the 12th house. Okay, so 12th house represents what? 12th house is the house of losses. in very simple terms. So this is kind of like a mixed bag. So it should bring gains for the second house matters, but it's sitting in the 12th house of losses. So you can say there may be some kind of illusions, right, about the gains you're getting from your family. So be very careful with all your family matters, family wealth, your speech, the food that you eat. There may be some ego issues going on with respect to your family. Okay. Now, but the 12th house itself is extremely powerful for doing spiritual work, travel to astral planes, other planes of existence, and foreign trips, pilgrimage, connection with the foreigners, with foreign people, foreign traditions, all of that. So this is a wonderful time, this 1 month period, for you to focus on spirituality, service, foreign things, foreign travel, all of that. Next is Leo rising. So for Leo rising, you have the Lagna Lord, which is the sun, sitting in the 11th house. So this is a wonderful, wonderful placement for you to have all sorts of gains, financial gains, fulfillment of your desires. 11th house is your desire. Lagna Lord sitting in the 11th house means you will shine bright. You will have focus on networking, focus on the social networks, social influence, gains from your friends, making more friends, philanthropy, your ambitions and desires will be fulfilled. So this is a wonderful time for you to present yourself as a leader in the social circles, focus on networking and all of that. Now, also be careful with your communication, especially with your friends. Sun being in trines to Saturn and Ketu, so you may, it may not be intentional, but you may come across as very, full of ego to your friends. So very careful with your communication with your friends, but the focus will be all of those 11th house matters. Next is Virgo rising. Virgo rising, Sun is the 12th house ruler, sitting in the 10th house. Okay, so 12th house and 10th house connection is going on. That means there may be gains for the 12th house matters, which is foreign trips, foreign workers, foreigners at work. So you may actually deal with a lot of foreign people in your career, in your job, in your work, or you may actually take foreign trips. So those will be beneficial for you. Be careful though about any ego issues or any clashes or any disputes with your co-workers or any issues at work. So, but in general, this is a good time for improving your public image, your reputation, your leadership skills, your authority. All of that is in focus. So you cannot escape that. I mean, it will be in the limelight. You will be in the limelight. Your career will be in the limelight. But just be careful because Saturn and Ketu are in trines to Sun. So be careful not to have any ego issues, not to have any disputes and conflicts at work. Next one is Libra rising. So for Libra rising, let me move the chart. For Libra rising, we have Sun as the 11th Lord sitting in the 9th house. So there's a connection between the 11th house and the 9th house. That means you'll bring gains. You'll have financial gains through spiritual means because 9th house represents our higher spirituality. Also, there could be gains through your father. So your father may be a part of your business or work or whatever. So there may be gains through your father. Now, be very careful in not having any ego issues with your gurus, with your fathers, with your superiors, because 9th house represents all of that, and Sun is in trines to Saturn and Ketu sitting in the 9th house, right? So take care of that. But otherwise, huge focus on your teachings, on connection with your gurus, higher education. You may actually start higher education. Focus on being very morally correct, ethics, and even long distance travels. So 9th house represents long distance travels, and there may be some lucky situations. So 9th house represents our bhagya, so good luck. So you may find yourself lucky in a lot of situations, but be careful with your some ego issues might be there with your father or superiors. Next one is Scorpio rising. Scorpio rising, sun is the 10th Lord sitting in the 8th house. See, 10th Lord is your career, 8th house is change, transformation, sudden things. So all of that could happen with your career, meaning you may actually change your line of career. There may be sudden changes or transformation. All of that is possible. But you will bring, this placement will bring gains to your career. So there may be change and transformation, but it should be for your good. It will give you progress in your career. Now, 8th house sun means it will reveal some secrets. It may also reveal some hidden wealth. Maybe you may get inheritance because 8th house represents money from other people, the money that you get suddenly. So that's all 8th house. The sun in the 8th house will uncover, you will discover all of those things. Those may happen suddenly, but so there is bound to be some kind of change and transformation. Be careful, with Saturn and Ketu in trines, be careful not to have any ego attached to all of those outcomes, like sudden gain in wealth or sudden change, transformation in your career. Next one is Sagittarius rising. For Sagittarius rising, sun is the 9th Lord sitting in the 7th house. Okay, so deep connection between the 9th house and the 7th house. So you may have some gains from your father, okay, to your spouse, or it could be vice versa. But a lot of progress in dharmic activities. You'll do a lot of dharmic activities with your spouse, with your partner. Now, sun in the 7th house in general is not so good for relationships because the person may feel very huge ego. And there are mythological stories where Sun's wife Sanjana, she couldn't withstand the brilliance of the sun, and she left the sun, created a shadow of herself. So all of that, but so sun is the fiery pitta planet sitting in the 7th house of relationships. So be careful with the relationships especially with your ego. Keep your ego in check, and then it'll be all wonderful. But the focus will be all the 7th house matters. Your one-on-one partnership with your personal partnership or business partnerships. Next one is Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising, sun is the 8th Lord sitting in the 6th house. It's a very interesting combination. Okay, so connection between the 8th house and the 6th house. So that this may mean, so this will bring gains. Okay, so this will bring gains for your 8th house matters. Gains for 8th house matters means you may discover some hidden secrets. Okay, and sun sitting in the 6th house means the focus will be all the 6th house matters. Your health, your service that you do for others, the employment, the job that you do, people who work for you, your enemies, your shadripus, your health routines, all of that will be in focus. So wonderful time to pick up all of that. But be careful not to have any ego issues with your employees, with your workers, with people, where you do job. So because sun is in Saturn, sun is in trines with Saturn and Ketu. Next is Aquarius rising. Aquarius rising, sun being the 7th Lord sitting in the 5th house. So there's direct connection between your children and your spouse. Your children may bring gains to your spouse, but be very careful with the communication with your children. Okay, so you may have face some ego issues with your children. They may have ego, you may have ego, because sun is in trines to Ketu and Saturn sitting in the 5th house. But in general, good time for creativity and intelligence. So you'll feel very, very motivated to create some intelligent things, give birth to a lot of things, creative things. And last one, finally, we have Pisces rising. So for Pisces rising, sun is the 6th Lord sitting in the 4th house. So that means gains to the 6th house matters, which is better health. You may start health routines, some improvement in your relationship with your enemies. You may actually take care of your shadripus, all of that. So especially gains to your health. And 4th house, sun sitting in the 4th house, that means these areas will be the focus, the limelight. which is your place of residence, your home, your mother, the vehicles, the things that make you happy, inner happiness, real estate. Okay, so wonderful time, big opportunities for you to focus on these areas: real estate, your home, your residence, doing things with your mother, or actually your mother may shine, might do some things in the public, that may be wonderful. So, but be careful with your communication with your mother, because Sun is entranced to Saturn and Ketu. So that was the possible impact of Sun in the sign of Gemini from 15th of June through 16th of July. And we saw, based on each rising sign, you can see how this may impact you. But in general, Sun in Gemini, wonderful time for communication, for creative, for learning new skills, for diplomacy, for what, sense of humor. All of that will be in focus. So if I were to summarize in just a couple of words, this is a great time to reach out to people, develop more communication channels, and learn new skills. Focus on your creative skills and your talents. I hope this was useful. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.